Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm joined here today by Minister Jameson, Minister Thompson to provide a government update on supports and recovery from Hurricane Fiona. At 2:30 p.m. today, there will be a live EMO update with Premier King, Minister Compton, Tanya Mullally, and Kim Griffin. First, I want to start by thanking the many crews who have been out the last number of days to open our roads and assess the damage to our island infrastructure. Cleanup efforts continue, and we have close to 70 crews, a combination of highway crews, private contractors, and additionally, we also have the military helping with these efforts across the province and our communities. There's a lot of cleanup left to do. The cleanup will take weeks and days, not hours. The damage we have seen is like nothing we have ever seen before. Some good news is our road infrastructure, for the most part, has remained structurally stable. We do have damage to 6 bridges in the province, but work has already started to repair those. We anticipate that Darnley Bridge, Bayview Bridge, Southwest Lot 16, Abrams Village, and Stanley Bridge structures will be completed and the routes available by early next week. The bridge structure in French Village will take longer, and we don't have a timeline for that, but there are alternate routes available. While our crews are doing a great job of cleaning our roads, when we come across trees on lines, we must work with Maritime Electric. As power continues to be restored and lines become live, I plead with islanders, do not go near down lines to try and assist with tree removal on roads. It is extremely dangerous. Later today, Maritime Electric will be working to restore power in the North River roundabout area. This afternoon, one lane will be shut down to westbound traffic, and beginning tomorrow, both lanes westbound will be closed. A detour will be set up around the site. We do know that the lights at the Sears intersection are working, and we will have traffic control personnel and message boards in the area where necessary. This is going to undoubtedly cause traffic congestion and frustration. I completely understand how frustrated people are, but we do need to close this road so that Maritime Electric can restore power to residents as soon as possible. I also want to provide an update on debris and waste collection. I've spoken with Island Waste Management Corporation and received an update on bin collection. Unfortunately, downed trees and power lines are still making it impossible in some areas for the province for our collection trucks. Collection will resume as soon as it is safe to do so. IWMC will be opening their sites for regular disposal operations as of Thursday. We want to stress, though, that there's no rush to get to these sites, as cleanup is still ongoing. When disposal sites do reopen, we will be waiving the disposal fee for residential customers to drop off their spoiled food and waste. I know many islanders are looking out their windows and seeing their hurricane debris and are anxious to see it off their properties, but we need to focus first on restoring power and on clearing our roads. The Department of Transportation and Infrastructure is working to set up a number of private pits across the island for the disposal of trees and brush. We will be announcing those locations and details tomorrow, with drop-off beginning on Thursday. I know there are islanders with trees blocking their driveways, on their houses, and causing safety concerns. And I also know that not all islanders have the ability to remove trees and brush and deliver them to our disposal sites. A dedicated phone line will be operational for islanders to call and to put their name on a list for property debris cleanup and removal. And for those without the ability to remove trees and brush and deliver them to our sites, that number will also be made available tomorrow. I want islanders to know it will take time to get this list compiled and to get the work started, with work continuing to open our roads. However, I know that with trees blocking your driveways and on your houses and causing safety concerns, we're going to do everything in our power to get help to you. I now want to pass it over to Minister Jameson.
Thank you. I want to begin by thanking all of our emergency officials, the first responders, and the frontline staff who have been working around the clock. Thank you for your dedication, your guidance, and your support. We have great people collaborating across departments, and we're so grateful for the partnerships and coordinated response. Everyone working together for the betterment of Islanders. When it comes to education, the safety of our students and our staff is our top priority. Right now, we have significant damage at 6 of our island schools and at various levels of impact at each other schools across the province. The 6 schools are École Evangeline, Queen Charlotte Intermediate, Cardigan Consolidated, East Wiltshire Intermediate, West Royalty Elementary, and Westwood Primary. Steps have been taken to minimize further damage, and we have already lined up contractors to begin repairs at many of our sites. I want to thank the officials at the Public Schools Branch and the CSLF, and of course the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, who have been working diligently to secure resources and materials. Work is already underway at some of our sites, but until we know the full extent of the damage, we won't know how long the repairs will take. With that said, working with the school authorities, we've decided that all schools in the English and French school systems will remain closed until at least Monday, October 3rd. We need our schools to be safe for our students and our staff to return. Right now, we have tremendous staff assessing our facilities, but they are doing assessments for the most part in the dark without power. We need to ensure that once power is restored, all of our mechanical systems are working properly, that our buildings are safe, that our roads are cleared for buses, and students can safely walk to school without fear of debris and trees blocking their way. Public Works, as well as military supports, are starting to remove the downed trees and debris from school properties and our childcare centres. But we do ask the public to please stay off the school grounds until classes resume, and that includes our playgrounds and our sports fields. We are reassessing the situation every day. We know that some of our classrooms have water damage, and we know that some of our schools, particularly Queen Charlotte Intermediate, Cardigan Consolidated, and École Evangeline, will require significant work. We've learned a lot throughout this pandemic, and we will be able to get through this together. For schools which require more significant work, a normal return to class on October 3rd will most likely not be possible. The PSB and the CSLF do have contingency plans in place, and they are exploring all of the options that are available. It's too early to confirm what the days ahead will look like for schools where the impact was greatest. We may see some students redistributed to neighboring schools. We may see some pivot to remote learning or alternate learning locations. As soon as we have full communications back up and running and a better understanding of the infrastructure needs, we'll be able to outline the path forward for our schools. Work is also underway to bring programs such as respite care and other student supports back into service. Please be patient. We hope to have another update for you by the end of the week. As it relates to childcare, I just want to reiterate what the Premier said yesterday. Childcare centres do require power to open. We currently have 20 childcare centres open, with additional centres coming online every day. We are working to ensure that essential workers have childcare available so that they can go to work, particularly in our healthcare facilities. Right now, we have 174 available spaces for our essential workers. If you are an essential worker and need childcare, please email us at childcarepostfiona@gov.pe.ca, and of course we'll have this online as well. If you are a childcare center and have experienced damage or need assistance, please look into the industry supports that are available and reach out to the department if you have any questions or concerns at all. I know being without power has been challenging for many. Grocery stores are starting to open, which is positive. All municipalities have been contacted by the province, and we are working with municipalities to provide food support to all reception centres across Prince Edward Island. We know this is a priority, and we are working as quickly as we can. If you are in need of food, have extenuating circumstances, and cannot access a reception centre, please call 211. We are working with nonprofits to provide grocery cards, gas cards, and other materials as they are needed. We are so thankful to the nonprofits who are on the ground supporting our Islanders, caring for the needs of our communities. Thank you. Finally, I want to thank Islanders for all of their care and patience during this time. And if you are able, please check in on your neighbors. Call people who you think may be alone or isolated. We are all in this together. So please stay safe and reach out if you need any help. Thank you, and with that, I will pass it along to Minister Thompson.
Good afternoon, everyone. We know the impacts of Hurricane Fiona are causing disruptions for many island businesses and their staff. As many businesses were unable to operate without power, and staff were asked to stay home. We've heard the concerns from employers and workers across the province and across all industries about the financial impacts this hurricane has caused. I want to assure you that your concerns are being heard. Today, we are launching the wage rebate for impacted workers. We know workers have missed out on shifts and are worried about their loss of income that this hurricane has caused while their place of work is closed. After a few stressful and challenging days, this should be the last thing on their mind. For the next 2 weeks, this wage rebate program will allow employers to pay their employees, and we will reimburse the employers 100% of their wages, up to the maximum of $25 per hour to a maximum of $1,000 per week per employee. Details of this program are now available on our government website. Employers will be able to apply and make claims for this program starting next week. We know that many communities need the help with cleanup of their properties from trees and debris. Through the Department of Fisheries and Communities, the Employment Development Agency Special Projects Program can provide support to any municipality that needs to hire temporary staff to help with the cleanup. In addition, the Rural Jobs Initiative can provide a wage subsidy if a private sector business in a rural area needs to hire someone to help with cleanup. The department will be connecting with agriculture and agriculture industries through their sector councils to see how this program can help them as well. The details of both these programs can be found on the government's website as well. I'll wrap things up by urging island businesses to talk to their insurance providers, assesses their damage. In the days to come, we will continue to assess the supports that may be needed to help businesses move forward. Lastly, I would like to thank all Islanders for their patience. We know these are tough times, but you have our support, and together we'll get through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Thompson, and we'd now like to take any questions from the media.
Jack Morris, CTV. We've certainly heard about the need for workers to maintain payment. Can you talk a little bit about the rationale of putting that to employers rather than directly to those impacted with lost wages?
Thank you. That's a good question. It's just easier, and we can apply this much quicker if we do it through the employer. Get money to the employees faster.
All right, thank you. That's my question. Carolyn Ryan, CBC.
This is for Minister Daigle. Question about, have there been many or any accidents on roads due to the traffic signal systems being out? And when are they all expected back? Are you having trouble with people on the roads?
Thank you. I'm not personally aware of any accidents due to traffic signals being out. That's something I'd have to speak with the department about. But We do have the displaced left turn signals do operate on a generator. However, the other most other signals do not. We are hoping. I know where the Sears intersection came back online today, I believe. I don't have a timeline of when all intersections would be back on. That's information I'd have to find out. But it would also be a process of when Maritime Electric is as they're turning on power in their priority areas as they move through the province.
Okay, Minister. Question for Minister Jameson. You were talking about gift cards and gas cards, working to provide those. How is your department connected to that system, and what are the specific organizations that will be distributing them, if not yourself?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I sit on the social supports subcommittee that was established by the Premier, and we are working with Health and Social Development and Housing on those supports. Tomorrow we will be releasing some additional information. I know the Department of Social Development and Housing has been in constant communication with both nonprofits and charitable organizations, but certainly the details regarding that program will be released tomorrow.
And a follow-up on that one, what do you know of how the Canadian Red Cross's donations are going to be handed out to Islanders? They had collected, I guess, around $3.6 million as of yesterday, and the feds were matching that. How will that money be distributed to Islanders? Will it be through the same system you're using, or will it be a different system?
Certainly, that is a question that I can definitely find the answers out for you. I haven't been engaged in any of those discussions as of yet, but absolutely we'll be able to find some answers for you, because I know that they will be looking at all options in terms of those distributions, and they'll make sure they get those dollars and supports in the hands of Islanders.
Great, and I'll squeeze in one more, if you don't mind, for Minister Thompson. Do you have a sense of what businesses that export from the island might need extra help to get up and running again in the next week or two?
Thank you for the question. Of course, power to their facilities is key. Also, we are working with our agriculture industry to a lot of the food products that are being shipped out need CFIA approval, and we need the paperwork to go along with that. So I know the Department of Agriculture is working hard on that to ensure that, and that's the main part, is to get the transportation going and get the workers back to work again and get the products moving.
I was thinking of the shellfish industry as well. I mean, we don't know yet how much pollution might have washed into the beds from the storm surges, extreme rain. Is that a concern, and what do you know about that?
Yes, it's been devastating for the shellfish industry, the aquaculture industry. There's a lot of work to be done, and there will be an update on that. We're still assessing the damage there, but it's extensive.
Thank you.
Lauren, Radio Canada.
Yes, good afternoon. I have two questions for Minister Jamieson. The École Evangeline has been severely damaged, and we know that there is a project for a new school there. So is it possible that this project may be accelerated if the damages are too important?
Yeah, thank you, Laurent, for the question. Certainly, École Evangeline has been severely impacted by the hurricane, unfortunately, and I think they're still undergoing assessments regarding the extent of the damage. I know there has been contractors on site that have been working, but that being said, these are questions that we're still trying to answer, Laurent. We're very much in the beginning stages of assessing the damage there at École Evangeline, and it was without a doubt one of the schools that was most impacted.
Okay, and my second question is about childcare. Usually when schools close, childcare centers close too. So does it mean that childcare centers which are within school buildings will be closed until next week?
Yeah, excellent question. So we have been in contact with all of our childcare centres across the island. These are our private centres, and certainly, as I had indicated today, there are 20 that are up and running, and so they are in a fortunate position where they do have power and are able to service families and children of essential workers. That being said, knowing that there are many childcare centres within schools, I understand that the assessment is still taking place currently at those facilities. So we'll know more in the coming days, but really, really pleased. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank our childcare workers for once again stepping up during a tremendously challenging time and being there for our families and our kids. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Rachel, the graphic. Rachel, the graphic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Rachel.
Okay, thanks so much for your patience there. Yeah, I have a question for Minister Thompson. I was wondering, with again school damage, are there any plans or to sort of figure out a situation, short term or long term for students there?
Sorry, I might not have catched the beginning of your question. So just in terms of the schools that are very damaged and could potentially see extended closures, is that what you're referencing?
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to involve people with significant damage, so I'm wondering if you might be using the plans to send students to other schools or maybe online this thing. It seems as though the damage might take quite some time to repair.
Yeah, all options are currently on the table, and thank you for the question. It's a good one. So I know that both the department are working alongside our school authorities to develop those contingency plans. So we'll be looking at other schools that potentially have some room to accommodate additional students or other locations, and also in a situation whereby no alternative locations are available, we could potentially be looking at some virtual learning for a period of time, and hopefully just a short period of time, because we need those kids back in those schools. And I know how important, as a mother of 2 young children myself, I do know how important those schools are for so many reasons. And I've been hearing from families and from staff, and I think we're going to work very closely alongside all of our partners, including Minister Deagle here in the Department of Infrastructure and Transportation, to make sure that we get our schools up and running as soon as we possibly can.
Thanks for that. And then I have another question for Minister Thompson. I'm just wondering if you could explain in a little bit more detail why it was faster to send the wage rebates through employers rather than individual employees.
Well, thank you, Rachel. It's the employers have the payrolls and all the payroll history that they can offer us, and that's what we'll base our payments on, is their previous payroll. And we have close contacts with most of the businesses, and we did this during COVID as well, and it worked quite well. So that's the reason we're going with this, and it gets money to the employee faster.
Awesome, thanks. Sophie McCaffrey, The Guardian.
Yes, question for Mr. Deagle. When we do see waste collection start again, what is going to happen with waste sorting? I'm wondering, will people have to worry about their carts being refused or sent back if they're throwing full packaged food in there, or are they responsible to separate them into waste compost, recycling, stuff like that?
That's a really good question. So what we're working on right now is Island Waste Management is working on to get that information out there to people so that they know how to properly sort that food waste. What we're also looking at, as you did mention, perhaps if we can't get that sorted, then on a temporary basis to accept that waste. But it's something as we sit here, we're working on, and we're going to try and have that information out as quickly as we possibly can.
Do we anticipate, added stress to our system in terms of dealing with that added or increased food waste?
No, any conversations I've had with Island Waste Management, they don't. They're well prepared for this. They feel like they can handle it.
Perfect. Question for Mr. Jameson. You mentioned the 3 schools that have quite substantial damage will likely not go back to classes next week. And you mentioned that there's contingency plans in the works. I'm wondering, I know you said it's too early to confirm what those are, but do we have the facilities and resources to possibly bring these students from those schools into other schools, especially considering the fact that, the island is still dealing with COVID-19?
Yeah, good question. I think I'll ask for your patience on this one. We really are in the beginning stages of doing our assessments, and unfortunately, the reality is that we're inspecting these schools, and some of them are still in without power and in the dark. So, I think as the days unfold, we'll have a better understanding of what next Monday looks like, and I promise I will give an update, or the Premier will give an update here in the days to come regarding next steps.
And question for Minister Thompson on the wage rebate. So you said that it's faster to go through employers because they have the payroll, they have all that stuff ready. It's very similar. It seems very similar to the COVID supports we provided for employers to pay their employees. However, we have run into issues, at least from businesses, employers or employees I've talked to, where employers weren't interested in applying for this rebate during COVID. So I'm wondering, for the businesses who don't want to apply for this rebate for their employees, what do you tell those employees who are not going to get paid? Do you have any supports coming to them?
Well, if that is the case, we will definitely do a workaround that all employees across this island that are in fact affected by Hurricane Fiona and the lack of shift work, and we will make sure that people are paid somehow. We'll make exceptions for that.
It's safe to say, though, right now nothing is in the works in terms of specific supports for those types of employees.
No, but we will. These are early days, early stages, and we have a couple of days to work out any kinks, and we'll ensure that this is a smooth process, that money gets into the hands of the people that need it most.
All right, thank you.
I do have another question, if it's okay.
Yes, for sure.
Sure, it's Carolyn from CBC. We're wondering, given that the weekend is going to be turning colder at night, is there any thought of schools that are in pretty good shape being opened up to be warming centers in communities that don't have reception centers at the moment?
Thank you. That's a good question. So currently we have 40 warming centers across the island, and again a big thanks to all those who are stepping up as staff or volunteers within the centers supporting islanders. I know I hear so many stories where islanders are just really appreciative, so thank you. That's something that can be explored. I will discuss with the Minister of Social Development and Housing regarding options for our schools and where we may be able to offer some supports in that regard.
That's all the questions we have for today.
Joey Black here, I Open Views.
Go ahead, Joey. Still there?
Hello.
Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, Mr. Deagle, now, how much damage is, what, can you give an estimate on how, when the cleanup, how the cleanup efforts are going in the province, and what's been taken up?
Thank you, Joey. No, it's a good
Undertaken?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So right now across the province, we have pretty well nearly every road open with at least one lane. So now what we're doing is going back and trying to get to push it back even further to get 2 lanes open. So our crews have been working around the clock. There's soon to be around 100 Maritime Electric crews, not all Maritime Electric, but a combination of a number of different companies from out of province. And we're going to work to assign a crew with each utility crew. So if we do that, then that will help speed up that process to restore power and to clear roads, because then they kind of work together as teams and they can go out each day, and it's going to cut down on and help the logistics of this all.
And is there any, how are crews doing getting power back in places like Oyster Bed and the outlying areas?
I'm not sure on that, Joey. That would probably be a better question for the next briefing for Kim Griffin and Maritime Electric.
Okay. I wonder if the Premier or someone could answer this one. Can you give me an update? Give us an update on the donations that may be coming in from the Red Cross for the relief fund?
The Premier's not on this briefing here, Joey. I'm not sure if I think that might be a good question, perhaps for the next briefing.
Right after this.
Right, which is just
Okay.
it's at 2:30 following this.
Yeah. No. So the next one will be tomorrow. Will it?
No, Joey. There's a briefing right after this at 2:30 with the Premier and Minister Compton, Tanya Mullally, and Kim Griffin.
Okay. Okay. I'll stay on the line then. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's all the questions we have for today.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.